When it comes to food and nutrition, there is a lot of information out there. A lot. Some of them are great, and a lot of them are... My name is Jo, I'm a dietitian, and in this video, we are going to tackle some of the most common nutrition misconceptions and why they are, in fact, false. So let's get bustin'. Get busted. Every month you should go on a detox diet so that you can get rid of all of the toxins in your body. It's gonna keep you healthy. Detox teas, juice cleanses, and multiple days of fasting. Detox teas and cleanses are popular because they tell us that if you get rid of the toxins in your body, you are going to lose weight, feel good, and reset. But here's a secret they won't tell you. Your body has a detoxification system embedded into it. Your kidney, your liver, your skin, your digestive system, your respiratory system, and more. Doing these cleanses and taking these detox pills is often going to be more harmful in the long run. Days of juicing is going to keep you from intaking fiber, protein, and healthy fats, and overall enough calories that's probably just going to leave you very, very hungry and later on binge eating. Detox teas are pretty much just laxatives that are going to make you poop a lot. And this can lead to dehydration, diarrhea, fluid imbalances, and long-term kidney and liver injuries. And I know it's tempting to try it because all we want to do is reset. Nothing can replace building a foundation of long-term habits. So do I have to detox or cleanse my body? Instead, we have to be focusing on building the foundation of habits that help support our body's natural detoxing processes. Eating 1 cup of rice is like eating 16 teaspoons of sugar. You better skip it. Not this one. This is a common thing you would probably hear online. Carbs do turn to sugar. That sugar is glucose, fructose, and galactose. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Because if you remember from our biology classes, sugar in the form of glucose is what your cell converts into ATP, which is your energy source. There are different types of sugars and carbohydrates. For example, you have your complex carbohydrates. They are complex structures of sugars that are attached to one another, making them harder to break down and slower to be released into your bloodstream, giving you more consistent energy. Then you have your simple carbohydrates, which are singular, simpler structures of sugars, which is easier for your body to digest and absorb into your bloodstream. Now, yes, white rice doesn't have the highest fiber, but it still does not act like table sugar. Let's take a look at the glycemic index. The glycemic index basically ranks a specific carbohydrate as to how fast it's going to increase your blood sugar levels. Food higher than 55 is considered to be high, and food lower than 55 is considered to be low. And this is something you can actually look at if you have blood sugar concerns. Apart from glycemic index, we also take a look at glycemic load. Glycemic load now measures the response of your blood sugar to that food item in a meal. And this depends on the amount of that food item in a meal. For example, the glycemic load of 3 cups of rice is different from that of 1 cup of rice. The amount plays a big role. Most of the time, you're not going to eat rice on its own. You're probably going to eat it with a protein source, a fiber source, and some fats, which means that the glycemic load or actual impact to your blood sugar levels is lower. One of my biggest pet peeves is those people who are comparing sugar levels with the food item. It just creates a lot of unnecessary fear-mongering, especially when it's food that is most accessible to a large population. So is eating a cup of rice like having 16 teaspoons of sugar? While carbohydrates turns to sugar, it's not the same thing. Don't forget to load your pantry with superfoods. They are so good and super amazing for the body. Chia seeds, spirulina, or maca root powder. The only superfood I can think of is one of those devil fruits from One Piece. A superfood is a food that is packed with nutrients. But the term superfood was just a way that they could price these food items much higher. Does this mean that these food items have no benefits? No. And if we think about it, any food can technically be a superfood with the right packaging. Rice, the superfood packed with super energy. Tuna, super packed with protein for muscle building. Lemons, super packed with vitamin C to boost your immunity. Most fruits, veggies, grains, nuts, and seeds are high in nutrients in general, making all foods technically superfoods at that. So do superfoods exist? Doesn't mean you shouldn't have them in your diet because they are loaded with nutrients. But if it doesn't fit your budget, there are definitely more affordable alternatives that we can reach to. Conventionally grown produce is so loaded with pesticides and herbicides, you're better off choosing organic. What does organic mean? Organic really just refers to the way that agricultural products are grown and processed, and not to the specific characteristics of the food. They minimize the use of synthetic pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, herbicides, genetically modified organisms, and antibiotics. Now, organic produce can be a great choice with a great nutrient profile. Conventionally grown fruits and vegetables are often just as nutritious, and they have to go through strict safety regulations. Meaning that if they do use fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides, there are regulatory bodies that make sure that the amounts of these in the food we consume are in safe levels. Now, I'm not saying that organic food is bad, but organic food can be expensive, which makes it quite hard to maintain a lifestyle to that degree. So is organic always better? The key is to focus on adding plenty of produce into our diet, whether that is organic or not. The best thing to do is to focus on what is locally available and affordable to you. Honey is so much better than white sugar. It's got a lower glycemic index and it's packed with antioxidants. So this is partly true, but not fully true, and I'll tell you why. Sugar is sugar. And again, sugar is not inherently bad. But whether it's brown sugar, maple sugar, coconut sugar, or white sugar, they pretty much have the same impact to your blood sugar. That's because most of these sweeteners have a similar glycemic index. Except agave, but it's kind of pricey. Now, coconut sugar and honey do have antioxidants or inulin and other nutrients that it can offer. But unless you're chugging honey or eating spoonfuls of coconut sugar, you're not mainly getting these antioxidants and nutrients from those sources. So is honey better than sugar? Yes and no. Now, if you like honey and it makes you feel good, then go for it. We can focus more on the overall amount of added sugars that is alongside our balanced diet. Eggs are so high in cholesterol, they're gonna give you heart disease. You've got to be yolking. Eggs are a highly nutrient-dense food source with quality protein and a lot of vitamins and minerals. And though eggs may be high in cholesterol, they don't directly lead to an increase in your cholesterol levels. Now, this is a common misunderstanding, that cholesterol from food is what directly relates to the cholesterol levels in the body. The bigger thing that impacts our cholesterol is actually the type of fats that we consume. We have three main types of fats: saturated, trans fats, and unsaturated fats. Under unsaturated fats, you have your monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, aka your omega-3s and 6s. Now, unsaturated fats have been seen to increase your good cholesterol and decrease your bad cholesterol. Saturated fat tends to have a neutral to higher impact on increasing your bad cholesterol, while trans fat tends to decrease your good cholesterol and increase your bad cholesterol. And as we can see, unsaturated fats play the biggest role in improving our cholesterol profile. Foods with unsaturated fats are fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and tuna, nuts and seed, plant oils like olive oil, canola oil, and avocado oil, as well as avocados. That's why it's so important to focus on nutrients that we should be adding into our diet rather than only thinking about what we have to remove. So are eggs from cholesterol bad? 1 to 3 eggs a day is definitely okay, and incorporating unsaturated fats. Now, if you do have any heart concerns or any other health conditions, then it's best to consult your dietitian on this. Processed foods are so bad. They're literally loaded with chemicals. Why would you eat that? Now, this comes from the thought that processed foods are just all chemicals and that's bad for your body. But technically, all food is made of chemicals. Take this ingredient list: aqua, carotene, tocopherol, riboflavin, nicotinamide, pantothenic acid, biotin, folic acid, ascorbic acid, palmitic acid, stearic acid, oleic acid. That's some of the ingredients in an apple. Looking into food is pretty much chemistry and biochemistry. Now, some processed foods can be quite high in sugar, salt, saturated fats, and trans fat. A lot of processed foods can be very convenient and accessible parts of our diet, like frozen veggies and fruits, which are frozen at their peak nutrient value. And weirdly enough, the same people who say that all processed foods are bad are also the ones who are going to sell you supplements that you should be taking to be healthy. It doesn't consider the fact that most foods are made accessible because of processing systems. That, plus the longevity of food and food safety, is also helped preserved through processes. Plus there's inflation, so that's another thing. There are so many times that I probably would have just let myself starve if I didn't have food to reach for. So are processed foods bad? Processed foods allows us to stay nourished and help us out on hard days. Of course, this doesn't mean that you should only be eating processed foods, but it's definitely okay to reach for convenience foods, especially if it helps us stay fueled. That wiped me out. That's all of our myths for today, but here's something to think about. There are some bits of truth in the nutrition information that we hear, but most of them have been exaggerated and blown up into fear-mongering and misinformation. It's always best to take nutrition and health advice that you hear online with a grain of salt.
You got it, Joe.
But not literally. Oh. Thank you so much for watching this video. Comment below what other nutrition myths you want to debunk, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, don't forget, you always deserve to eat.
The video's over, but that doesn't mean you have to go. You can still subscribe or watch another video. Thanks for watching.